Greetings, I'm your host, Jason Miles, and welcome to another episode of This is Revolution Podcast for all the returning listeners, subscribers, and of course, our very valued patrons. Thank you so much for coming back. To those new to the channel, thank you for taking a moment to check us out. If you dig what we're doing, please hit like and, of course, subscribe. It is a passive gesture that goes a very long way in promoting the channel. We had some last-minute changes to some of the shows. We're adding a show tomorrow. Our guests, Will Haven, couldn't make it today, so we have rescheduled them for tomorrow, where we'll be having a special champagne room with the fellas. Tonight, after this show, we will be having a very special movie night. A very special presentation of Death Wish 4, The Crackdown. And after the reading of the show's preamble, you'll understand why. Before I start the show's preamble, just a quick reminder, this is listener-supported programming here on TIR, and if you are enjoying what you see here, think about becoming a patron. For as little as $3 a month or $30 for the year, you can make sure TIR can continue to be the land of left misfits and badassery. Also, by becoming a patron or a paid YouTube subscriber, you can join us for movie night. And tonight, it's going to be a damn good one. Now, let's talk about some cheery stuff like the downfall of humanity. In America, we are held captive by a two-party system that, at best, serves the left and right flanks of capital. Both sides exploit the public's fear of middle-class collapse and America's waning global dominance to mobilize voters with promises of a return to greatness. On one end of the spectrum, quote, law and order is enforced by a racially diverse cohort of elected officials and police officers, trained in racial sensitivity, outfitted with body cameras, and deployed to project an illusion of accountability. On the other, law enforcement is just as multiracial, but openly authoritarian, demanding civic compliance through brute force. Wherever you fall on this spectrum, whether the foot soldiers of Capitol wear their pronouns on their uniforms or show up in unmarked vans to black bag immigrants, the result is the same: a bipartisan system of repression where the feeling of political desperation is universal. The visible rot of civic institutions has created a festering public frustration. Homeless encampments have spilled far beyond their stereotypical urban confines, creeping into suburban bedroom communities designed precisely to shield residents from such realities. This isn't the bleak opening of a dystopian screenplay. This is the present state of one of the richest countries in the world. The end of history narrative that liberal democracy and capitalism would forever reign victorious has been America's greatest cultural export, and perhaps the most powerful opiate ever consumed by its own people. As the COVID-19 death toll climbed beyond 1 million, there was no substantive, sustainable federal response for the millions without health insurance. These were the essential workers, the surplus labor keeping the machine running. Their sacrifice was not met with care, but with symbolic gestures, hashtags, military flyovers, in place of healthcare and rent relief. Housing aid remains punitive, mired in bureaucracy. Government housing is often indistinguishable from abandonment. The commodification of shelter may be one of capitalism's most obscene cruelties, and we are watching it unfold in real time. I remember dystopian films where humans wrapped in rags huddled around flaming barrels for warmth. I had never thought I'd watch that scene play out live every day on my way to work. Recently, I watched Mad Max, the 1979 film set in an unnamed but disturbingly familiar, not too distant future. The world is collapsing, ravaged by war, abandoned by institutions. Roving biker gangs terrorize what remained of civil society. The only force that stands between them and the people is the main force patrol, part highway patrol, part paramilitary stunt crew with a license to kill. We see early on that the only thing separating these lawmen from the criminals they chase is a badge and a crumbling idea of heroism. Like so many films that followed in the 80s, the chaos emerges from the collapse of traditional authority. Once the veil of order is lifted, bedlam reigns. Maniacal hordes follow Caligula like cult leaders. Civilization is reduced to a choice: conquer or be conquered. And if you look around today at the chaos, the cruelty, the performance of justice, the theater of politics, ask yourself, what world are we living in now? To discuss this with me further is the voice of reason on this show and for the entire internet. Please welcome M. Tucson.
Hello, hello. I just want to say two things.
Mhm.
First of all, hide your wife, hide your kids. It's
Why?
Mad Max out there.
It's Mad
And
Max. Yeah.
it's Mad Max out there. And Jason
What I do?
has hickeys, so he's wearing an ascot to cover them up tonight.
I'd wear a turtleneck.
That's what they used to do on all those shows, right?
Dizzle
Zach
says,
randomly wearing a turtleneck.
here's a 10 spot so you could replace them Sally Jesse ass glasses. You guys are
Got
so
it,
mean.
man.
If they could see my shorts right now,
Oh my.
which I will show later, because Mac was teasing my shorts.
He was teasing you about your shorts or teasing your shorts?
Both.
Wow.
Not cool.
Okay.
Not cool.
This is a very fashionable podcast.
They call them Magnum PI shorts. Why do they do that? Let's try to stay on topic.
We
We
ain't
have a
gonna do
movie.
that tonight. I'll tell you
We
that
have
right now.
a
We
movie to
ain't gonna
watch
do
later. We have a movie
that.
to watch.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if you're joining us, but we have a movie to watch later that is ridiculous and fun. But do you feel like we live in a weird Mad Max moment? Or I say the Bronson Age because Charles Bronson made a gajillion movies. The Mad Max movies after the first one start to look like, what do they call it? Solar punk,
Hmm.
post-apocalyptic world. And if you watch the first one, like there's still court in the first one that they go to.
Mm-hmm.
By the second one, all bets are off. It's just a futuristic nightmare. So that's why I didn't want to call it that. I think Charles Bronson lives a little bit more in the present, and a lot of those movies took place at a time where there was a fight that I wouldn't say was bipartisan, but one where more people fell on the side of what we would now call the right when it came to giving people longer sentences, especially young people, longer sentences for violent crime. And those Death Wish movies are kind of commercials, if you will, for what will later be the 94 crime bill. Because by the time we get to the Hood movies, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
we really need to lock these people up. You there?
I'm here.
Okay. So what say you on this current moment?
I don't know. I was chatting with somebody today about how much better my life is now.
Hmm. It's like safer or just better because you're in a better financial position?
Safer, better, better finances, stability. all that stuff. I think I think I just managed to get to an age and do enough work to get to this place, which is really in contrast with how a lot of other people are feeling right now. So there's an odd mismatch for me. It's hard for me to really say that I feel like it's Mad Max out there.
Well, I hear Mad Max in your background.
Yo, the sirens were going crazy today. I don't think that there are that many emergencies. I feel like they faking it and they just want to get through traffic. That's really loud. I'm sorry.
Jesus. You are living in the world. You're like, my life's a lot better now. My house is no longer in fire.
It's interesting. I
The
mean,
landlord fixed my furnace.
I was asked to take a survey like a year or two ago, and I was asked how safe I feel in the neighborhood. And I generally feel safe in New York City no matter what's going on. But I mentioned that I specifically feel safe in my building. And the person I was talking to who was taking the survey was like, "What?
That's
What?"
not what we were looking for.
He was like, "You're the only one who's ever said that." And we talk to people who live in your building. So, like,
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. Do the people that live in your building, are a lot of them transplants?
I thought you were going to say a lot of them trans.
Are there a lot of transplants
Trans
transcending
transplants.
in the
Um,
transnational tower that is your building?
I think a lot of the people in my building are from here or they've been here for a long time. So they're like veteran transplants.
Long enough that 20 years ago was 2000s. So
Yeah.
anyone that says I've been in New York for 20 years, you still lived in a different New York than
Hmm.
1994, than 1988. And if you are of a certain age, right, we have to include the
Right.
age. If you're 35 and you've been there for 20 years, it's a different story. But if they're your age, which is 57,
Hey.
like seriously,
Yeah.
then this is a different New York for them than the one that
I've lived
that existed.
through several New Yorks.
You come of age in Koch's New York,
Yes.
and then
How am
you
I
live.
doing? How am I doing?
You're young, but you're still probably going on your first, subway rides to a friend's place or the shopping center where you New Yorkers shop, which apparently is a street of Jewish vendors.
They're selling baklava over here.
It's people that never seen the show turn into this black guy. I think is kind of Kanye-ish.
So when I was a kid, as far as I knew, a mayor was Ed Koch. There are no other mayors. There can be no other mayors. The governor was Mario Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo's father. There can be no other governors. And the Pope was John Paul II. There can be no other popes.
I feel like you just looked all this up to see what it was like in 88, or
No,
you just know it, and that's pretty cool.
I just know that stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's I heard that in New York State, the rate of incumbents getting to stay in office is similar to that of like Russia after the fall of the Soviet Union or something. Like, these people don't leave office. They just stay
Mhm.
here forever. So when I was a kid, that's who was in place, and
Yeah.
they just didn't really leave. And for them to lose their jobs or die was like kind of a huge deal. So speaking of vigilantes, in 1984, on December 22nd, there was a shooting. A man named Bernard Getz
Yep.
was on the subway.
Yep.
He's a white man.
Yes, he is.
He shot four black youths who
One
approached
fight.
him for money.
Allegedly. We don't know
Oh,
what they approached him for, remember?
yeah. It says also allegedly. The youths were later identified as known offenders with sharpened screwdrivers. So, how about that? That's alleged as
That's from
well.
Curtis Sliwa, right? Curtis Sliwa. I think he even testified. And if you don't know who Curtis Sliwa is, he's the guy that started the Guardian Angels because he got his ass kicked,
Right.
I think.
I don't know why he started
He
it,
got
but
shot in the leg or something. He's like, never again.
he's very New York and very 80s. I know that. I
But
saw him on the train once. I snuck a picture of him. I was like,
and
yo,
he
look at
punched
this
him in the
dude.
face.
I was
Um,
like, he's real. What?
but he had a very large multiracial cohort of vigilantes that were
Yes.
going to rid the city of crime. One of the reasons New York had a problem, they didn't have a police force on the train. They didn't have anybody enforcing the train. So the train, for the most part, was a little wild.
Yeah.
And if you read any newspaper articles or watch any footage from the Bernard Getz shooting, they
Hmm.
called him the vigilante shooter,
Subway vigilante.
subway vigilante, and they felt that he was a Charles Bronson type.
Hmm.
Now, the first Death Wish takes place in New York. If you know anything about the movies, they flip flop. The character he plays is in New York, and they kill his wife, rape his daughter, who goes catatonic. Then he moves to Los Angeles, and another group of random ne'er do wells rape his maid,
Mm.
which was one of the like all of it is truly unnecessary.
Yeah.
But when you see the second one, it's like, what the, why the maid? Like she,
Yeah. Because they ran out of female relatives. That's why they did
they
that.
find his daughter in the home and like attack her, and
Hmm.
it just goes. It the part two is just like Larry Fishburne's in it, and he's like giggling and salivating every time he sees a white woman. It's just like Jesus fucking Christ.
Wow.
Well, all the
So,
movies are quite offensive, but
so one of the death wishes
mhm.
came out in 1974.
First
So I
one.
did. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Because I did a little bit of research. Um, and apparently this had a big effect on the American psyche. But I think that a lot of this was in place in already. There is a thing in this culture where if you're a man and somebody does anything to your female relatives, your wife,
Mhm.
basically your property,
Mm,
right? You are allowed to just go ham
truly.
and shoot up the club, so to speak. You could just shoot people because someone touched your property. You're allowed to. And a lot of people dream of the moment where something like that can happen so they can shoot someone and basically get off. Feel like they're justified, or they dream of moments where they could shoot somebody in self defense and get off for it. These are like, they're not just hero fantasies, they're vigilante fantasies. They're murderous
They're
fantasies.
murderous fantasies that a lot of people have, where it's like, hey, I have these to protect my family. I'm like, who the fuck wants your family? I've been around your family. Your wife sucks. Your kids
Nice.
smell weird. Nobody
Oh.
wants your family. Nobody wants your
But
family.
I was talking to you before about something this writer, a phrase this writer coined called animal whites,
Okay.
and how she observed this sort of behavior with white men in the animal rights movement and environmentalism. So it's not that you touched his wife or his daughter, his property. It's that you touched an animal that he cares about.
Mm,
So now he has permission to just let loose on you and be a vigilante. So this was something that was sort of infecting the environmental and animal rights movements for a while. Just this vigilante streak in some of these guys. They seem so nice. They care about bunnies, but inside they are just waiting for someone to misstep
mhm.
so they can be violent.
Um, but does it have to be your family? I think let's take Bernard Getz for example, and I think that's what kind of throws that theory out the window. Bernard Getz was single,
Right, right, right.
And the reason why he bought a gun was because he was assaulted.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he was thrown through a plate glass window,
Yikes.
and he went to report it, and nothing happened, and he felt pretty powerless.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say he was a computer programmer. If you've ever seen a picture of him, he's
He
kind of
looks
the
like a
epitome of
computer.
what you think a nerd would look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I think why the vigilante thing works so well for him and why it resonates with Americans is the same reason why Hak Tua resonates with Americans, to bring it closer to home for people that weren't alive in 84, because she looks homely.
Hmm.
They look like regular people. There's nothing about them that is imposing or attractive.
Wow.
Um, and
Unassuming,
that
I would
sounds
say.
cuter, but let's just call it what it is.
Wow. Okay. Well, not a stunner, Bernard gets.
You're sure, but the
If
point
you were
is,
going to draw an older
if you were
cartoon
going to
nerd
say
man,
what's it, who looks like they can still get stuffed in a locker in their 30s, it would be a picture of Bernard Getz.
yeah, yeah.
He even talked like a person that gets stuffed in a locker. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when he shot the youths, the Utes,
Mm-hmm. The Ute them.
the Lord of mercy. When he shot the kid, one kid still has suffered lifelong damage from this. He's paralyzed. That's the kid that he shot twice. He said, "You look fine. Here, have another." Now, I know this because I watched when he turned himself in,
Mm-hmm.
because you can watch it online.
Mm.
He admits to everything. And when you listen to him, it sounds like a man frustrated with the way things are.
Mm-hmm.
And the way things are in this moment is, there's not a lot going on economically in a city like New York. And
Not at the time.
crime is
Mm-hmm.
paying some people, but these kids weren't drug dealers.
Mm-hmm.
They were just kids.
Mm-hmm.
Were they fucking with them? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have roughed anybody up or tried to punk him, but we might have laughed at that guy when I was fucking 15.
Mm.
That dude looks like a weenus.
Laughing and pointing at some
Yeah.
grown.
But all jokes aside, like, it's an uncomfortable feeling to be frightened to ride public transportation.
Right?
And no one should be frightened to ride public transportation.
Agreed.
Um, that being said, you
Mm-hmm.
also shouldn't shoot people that scare you.
This is a fact. It's got to be a better way
There's
to
got to
deal with
be a better
things.
way.
I'm going to
Um,
paralyze you for life
it felt nothing.
because you scared me.
He ran. He runs for mayor after the trial is all over, and it takes years for the trial to be over.
Mm.
He ran for mayor. Now, the name Bernard Getz doesn't really ring out like Charles Bronson does, but I think these are all important people to look back on, because I do see where we are today as indicative of that moment, because there's not a lot of opportunities for people like there was before. We haven't really talked about this too much on the show, and I'm still working something out. It's kind of the sequel to this piece. But what you have in the aftermath of tough on crime laws is the legalization of a lot of the drugs that were being trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have Oxycontin and fentanyl, we have Adderall and a plethora of other uppers. Weed is legal pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You can get psilocybin in California in chocolate.
Ooh.
There's ketamine therapy in a lot of places that's legal.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things that were taboo, that were being ran by criminal forces, are run legally now.
Mm-hmm.
We even have sexual tourism that if you're just intrigued about it, you can Google it and find places you can go within North America
Hmm.
to even get laid legally. So a lot of these barriers are gone. So what's now taking the place of all these jobs that people had illegally, running drugs, holding money?
Hmm.
That's what a lot of people went to prison for, holding money, being a middleman, right? You were getting big time under the jail time for just getting caught holding something, and you were a conduit between, people.
Hmm.
So with all that gone, you know who's hiring? Law enforcement.
I was gonna say UPS.
Not as much as law enforcement. They're not
Not
paying
as
as
much as
much.
Walmart.
They're definitely not paying as much.
Not as much as Amazon. Yeah.
So I can't remember the woman's name that was like a low level drug. I'm forgetting her role in the drug trade that Kim Kardashian got out of prison.
Oh, uh huh.
I think she just had a stash house. I think she used her house as like a stash house or some shit like that.
Hmm.
You don't have to do that anymore because there's danger involved in that,
Hmm.
right? Even if you're kind of, for the most part, out of the loop, if you got something in your house, somebody's gonna kick down the door.
Yeah.
Go be, go be a cop. You live in certain parts of California. Go work for Border Patrol. These are jobs that pay pretty well.
Hmm.
I mean, what do the cops look like in your city? Are they
Uh,
really all white?
a lot of them are in pear shaped.
Pear shaped.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about. But yeah. Um, we've got some stocky boys. A lot of them are not from New York City, but they do come in and police New York City. So they're not from the neighborhoods that they're policing. Every now and then, you'll see some people who seem familiar with the local cops in the area. I mean, I was walking down the block the other day in Brooklyn, and I was walking behind two cops, and there was a fire truck out in front on that block. And this lady pops out of this building. It turns out it was a daycare center.
Mhm.
So she waves to the cops, they wave to her, they chat a little bit, and then a bunch of kids come flooding out. And the firefighters are waving to the kids, and the police are waving to the firefighters, and everyone's really excited about each other. There's the sirens again outside my window. But everybody was having a great time. But you don't usually see that.
That's cops trying to stop kids from having. This is a kid right now just playing jacks.
Playing an old timey game of jacks.
Little New York niggas out there playing jacks with them derby hats and dirt smudged faces.
One of them's wearing a crown hat like Jughead from RG. Like, how old are you?
Oh shit! Looks like these kids broke the space time continuum again, and over here playing jacks, starting all this shit.
Eating Cracker Jacks.
But I bring that up because why I think that's relevant to the discussion is
Hmm.
now you have these people now that, much like with the criminal economy, kind of sort of get forced into it.
Hmm.
Rent is due, diapers ain't
Yeah.
cheap. God forbid you want to eat.
God forbid.
You know, there's someone that's hiring and paying benefits and
Hmm.
bonuses. And ICE is like, look, we'll hire anybody. When you
Yeah.
start removing certain guardrails like
Hmm.
age,
Yeah. Yes.
number one is let you know that maybe a lot of young people aren't signing up. So you're like, look, we'll just take the old ones first. And once everybody sees the old ones are buying
Mm.
Teslas,
Oh, wow.
then they'll be like, well, I want a Tesla too.
Well,
All I have to
I
do, and I
mean,
get to wear a mask.
I guess it's it is a good job. Some people do believe in the mission of ICE. If
Mm,
you're young enough, you've never really known a world without ICE.
mm,
So you also might think it's legitimate, like more legitimate than it is.
mm-hmm.
And yeah, who is hiring? I came across a statistic that 40 to 60% of the job ads that you see are what's considered ghost jobs.
Does that
So
mean
they're
that they're for the undead,
unliving.
or
The undead, right?
it's like Beetlejuice is the Beetlejuice
Exactly.
world is hiring? God
Beetlejuice
damn
and
it!
Casper getting hired. Right. So it turns out some employers are posting jobs that are not real. Um, they may be filled already or they just don't exist. Some are like data mining. Some want to have a stockpile of resumes in case they do hire in the next 6 months.
That's
Some
evil.
have no intention of hiring. Some just want to scare the employees they already have by posting job postings. And then, of course, you have like nepotism and internal hiring, but these jobs have to post something publicly to show that they're looking at candidates. But in reality, they already have someone. So just a high percentage of these jobs are just not real.
Well, that leads me to this first discussion question.
Hmm.
In Mad Max, the only thing separating the main force patrol from the gangs they pursue is a badge and an ideal of heroism. How does this blur between good guys and bad guys reflect real world policing today, you think?
Real world policing. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the good guy, bad guy dichotomy.
Mhm.
Obviously, the truth is often messier.
Mm.
Um, we're definitely in the era of the anti-hero. So you can see lots of portrayals of, the
That's
main
the Bronson
character.
Age.
That too.
That's the
The
Bronson
good
Age.
guy who is not that good.
Hmm.
And that's the kind of hero that America likes now. And that's been the case for several decades.
Hmm.
Uh, I,
Hulk
I,
Hogan turns into that guy.
right. He makes it messy.
Hmm.
Like, should we still like him? He's not who he was before. He
We
took a
loved him.
turn.
Yeah, we loved
Hmm.
Hulk Hogan, which is funny because everything I saw of Hulk Hogan for someone that wrote some sort of obituary for him,
Hmm.
um, whether it was scathing or not,
Hmm.
they had an image of him in his red and yellow.
Right.
I was like, dude, he only wore that for a short time in his career. He was Hollywood Hogan for the majority of it.
That was the iconic Hogan. That was the one that you knew if you were not
For
into
people
wrestling.
our age,
Sure. Yeah.
if you watched wrestling, even if you're our age, Hulk
Mm-hmm.
Hogan has the dyed black stubble with the
Mm-hmm.
big blonde mustache
Mm-hmm.
and a do rag on to cover the bald head.
Right.
The red and yellow Hogan, again, that was over by like 90.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. If
I mean,
you're like a fair weather fan, then that's the Hogan that you know, and you weren't there for the rest of the story arc. But I do want to make a bit of a confession because a lot of people don't know this about me. Whenever I've mentioned it, people have been really shocked.
her real name is Maribel.
No,
His
there's a
name is
show.
Martise.
There's a show about NYPD called Blue Bloods,
Hmm.
starring Tom Selleck. And I have watched most of the seasons of it. Uh, I I used to watch the show every week. There was nothing on at that time, so when I was still watching TV, I would watch that, and I would watch the old episodes and everything. In the pilot episode, Donnie Wahlberg, who plays an NYPD detective,
Mhm.
shoves the guy's head in a toilet to try to get answers out of him. So we're starting out like showing his character. He is the good guy, but he is willing to cross lines that he probably should not be crossing in order to solve his cases. Um, and it's not at all shocking to me that a cop would do that in real life. I mean, I heard that when they were interrogating the Central Park Five, they were like, it was common for cops to just like kind of tie you to a swivel chair and smack you with the phone book to try to get answers out of you.
I mean, remember everything they did to those kids, they did to that white guy that actually did kill a woman in Central Park.
It was common practice for them to do that.
Hmm.
That's my understanding.
Nobody has a problem with roughing people up. If you watch shows like Law and Order SVU, and I have watched a shitload of Law and Order,
It's a great
anytime
franchise.
there could be maltreatment of a suspect, and it could be the person that did the crime. There's
Mm-hmm.
someone that comes out to defend that person, and the person that defends the criminal
Mm-hmm.
is always the villain of the show,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that person is like, "Oh God, here he comes again." And who are these people in the show? Nuns and priests.
Mm-hmm.
I will repeat this: nuns, maybe not necessarily priests all the time, but religious leaders in the community, and they tend to have a racial element to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that is because don't beat a confession out of somebody. You don't have to.
Right. That's true.
Most people tell. If you don't believe me, have a gander at the show The First 48. It
First
should be
48 is
called
wild.
it should be called That Nigga's Telling.
That nigga's telling in 2 days.
Yeah. They ask again. You know what's scarier? You know what's scarier than somebody hitting you in the face with a phone book?
Hmm.
Prison time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Prison time is frightening.
Or Rikers.
There, real life case in Las Vegas, Nevada, there was a dancer that was missing. She was missing for weeks and no one could find her. They had asked her boyfriend. He didn't know where she was. None of her friends knew where she was. They asked the boyfriend again. He didn't know. Eventually, all the keep showing this girl's picture and keep showing the boyfriend's picture. Nancy Grace is going crazy saying the boyfriend did it, being kind of a just repugnant turd.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the boyfriend did do it.
Yeah.
and in all of the stuff that was happening, the boyfriend had went to and he was a ladies' man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to say it. Philanderer. I feel like any way you say that makes it sound nice.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
even if I said he fucked a lot of women,
He's a
it's like,
womanizer.
oh, yeah, okay, that guy sounds all right. Anyway, one of the women he had dated had a storage unit, and he said, "Hey, I need to put something in your storage unit." And she goes, "What is it?" He goes, "You don't want to know." And she goes, "No, I want to know." And finally, he goes, "Oh, it's the chick that I dated that's missing." She's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" She thought he was full of shit. The chick's missing for a bunch of weeks. She calls the cops. She goes, "By the way, my boyfriend used to date that chick, and he tried to drop off this thing at my house." So the cops go back to the dude, and they question his roommate as well. And they feel like the roommate is the weak link.
Mm-hmm.
So they question the roommate, and the roommate does what everyone does. All right, Toussaint, it's not looking good for you. We have evidence that you were at the scene of the crime. We have your fingerprints on the door, and the DA is going to give you the death penalty
All right,
unless
I did it. I did it. I did it.
the
Detective
friend.
Miles, I did it.
That's the movies,
Yeah.
right? Or that's the Netflix special. Real
Mm-hmm.
life, Works out even worse. The friend goes, he did it. I had nothing to do with it. And they had nothing on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the friend goes, I'll tell you exactly how we did it. Got to get me off.
Oh,
Friend serves no time.
okay.
Totally involved in the whole thing.
Oh,
Totally
he
involved.
pulled a Ghislaine Maxwell.
Exactly. It wasn't me. So what happened was I left the house and he called me. He said, come back. And I said, oh my goodness. The friend said that the dude had an idea to get rid of the body by putting her in a plastic tub. Like you probably have a storage tub right now, so
Mm-hmm.
big that you maybe store towels or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They put a human in that and then filled it with concrete.
Mm.
Not knowing how concrete or humans work,
Yeah.
the tub exploded and a bunch of fluids leaked out. And then the guy had another girlfriend no one knew about. And she ended
Wow.
up having a vacant unit. And they took her out, they got her out of the concrete, cut her up in pieces, put her in a whole bunch of different tubs, and then locked her in a closet and then sealed the closet. And the friend told the whole story. He got no time at all. He was there doing the stuff too. No time. Everybody snitches. Everybody snitches. You did the crime with the dude. Make a deal. You don't have to kick anybody's ass. Tell me what I want to hear. I'll tell you everything you want to hear. Toussaint did it. Her social security number is 449.
Singing like Mariah.
If you can't find her at home, here are 7 addresses.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, I'll ask her to send me her location right now.
Here's the information from her air tag. I've been tracking her.
She scared me. I know she's 5'2". Right? I know this. It doesn't matter. She scared me. She looked me in the eye with those beady little eyes. Everybody's telling.
Mm.
And you're going to get a deal out of it. Unless you're those kids, the Central Park 5.
Yeah. Well, they didn't even do it.
Yeah. It's so much worse, right? If they say you were there,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to prison.
Till this day, I used to have a hairdresser who was convinced that they had something to do with it. I was like, they were exonerated and they found the guy who did it. Well, those kids, they're not innocent. And I was like, what are you? They were legally declared innocent and released. They were exonerated. They're the exonerated 5. And she was like, they were doing something wrong. They were up to no good. And I was like, that's not the same as like raping a chick in Central Park.
Mm-hmm.
Up to no good. There's a lot of things that fall under that. That is not
Stealing fucking gum.
Yeah.
Oh, those gum thieves. They had to have killed
Pointing
that
at
woman.
nerdy guys that look like Bernard Getz and laughing at them. That's up to no good. That's what I think.
You gotta die.
Yeah.
Do you feel like what we're seeing right now, leading up into the election, there was a lot of anti-immigrant sentiment, and it was coming from everybody, even the Latino community.
This
As
last
a person who
election?
lives in Mexico, amongst Chicanos, I am constantly surprised at the anti-immigrant sentiment that I hear. Right?
Yeah.
But as it's being carried out, it feels like no one wanted to see how brutal it can be, much like child separation. We talked a little bit about that with Arun the other day. We talked about these movements that sprung up because
Mhm.
of child separation. While I do think rhetorically we want to see people go to prison for longer periods of time, I think if you surveyed people that watched this show,
Mhm.
they would want sex offenders put to death
Mm.
or at least locked up for life.
Mhm.
Um, the idea of forgiveness, the idea of recompense, the idea of justice, it's so interwoven with revenge and has been for a long time because there's
Mhm.
this thing that you always hear, we have to bring justice to the family. The
Mhm.
family needs closure. Once
Yeah.
my family member, as someone that's lost a family member to gun violence and friends to gun violence,
Mhm.
once they're dead, that's all the closure I need. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're not coming back.
People are funny about closure and about losing loved ones. Um, I've learned that there can be a very big difference in response from when a person dies slowly as opposed to when a person dies quickly. And if you've experienced that before, or if this is the first time you're experiencing losing a loved one, and a lot of people do think punishment equals justice. Connor, you are correct. We don't really have real definitions for justice in this country, I think. Uh, Dear brother Cornell West says, justice is what love looks like in public.
Public. Great line.
Great line. What does that actually mean?
Mhm.
So, your loved one is killed. You want to see love in public? What what does that look like?
Mhm.
I personally am not a vengeful person. I will be the first one to say, um, vengeance is not mine. I don't want to. I don't want to deal with it. But that's not a typical response for a lot of Americans. They want blood. They want blood. It's
How
cheap.
do how does the left right binary shape the role and behavior of law enforcement in your opinion under different administrations?
I don't know because I feel like law enforcement is kind of a constant. I don't see huge differences. I did see a difference in like the tone in the city when Giuliani was mayor.
Mhm.
Because then you have the Abner Louima case where the man was sodomized with a plunger. And someone allegedly said it's Giuliani time while that was happening. That was proven to be false, but Giuliani time became a thing. And there's a documentary called Giuliani Time that's about the incident and everything surrounding that. So I noticed that. I know that under de Blasio, the cops turned their back on him.
Mm.
So there's a difference, huge difference, between a right wing mayor and a left wing or more left wing mayor. The cops are, I've for a long time regarded them as just another gang and an uncontrollable variable that I personally am very reluctant to introduce into any situation, pretty much no matter what is happening.
Mm.
They're wild cards, and I don't like it. Their union protects them from just about anything. Uh, and when was it? Was this leading up to Trump's first term? There was a time when during the summer, yeah, it was during COVID, firecrackers were going off like crazy. Yeah, I think that was 2020. Did you hear about this?
Fire. What
In
is it?
cities all across the country, people were talking about like this proliferation of these intense fireworks. It
Mhm.
was going on well past 4th of July.
Mhm.
It was going on for like months. So the word on the street was the police were turning a blind eye to all of this because that's illegal in New York City. It's just you're supposed to go watch the Macy's Day Parade and that's it for you. But they were going off like crazy, and this was supposed to be like an abdication of their duties that the police were doing in protest of whatever was happening with George Floyd and the protests. So they're just really, I don't know, man. They're in business for themselves. It's kind of how I feel.
Well, that gets to my next question. Qualified immunity has insulated officers from accountability for decades. How
Yes.
does this legal shield affect public trust and the culture within policing, you think?
It seems to have led to an idea among cops that look, you got X amount of hours after something pops off to just get with your people and get your story straight. And they are very protective of that right and ability that they have. I don't think that it promotes trust among the people. We know what they're doing. We know they're getting their story straight, and I, there's a great case for getting rid of it. What do you need that for?
I think that's a safety valve that they're afraid to
Yeah.
yeah, right. Getting rid of that terrifies the shit out of them because do you open yourself up to prior bad acts and
Hmm.
lawsuits? I'm not saying keep it for that reason. I'm just throwing out a reason why it's going to be really hard to overturn.
Well, we know this. We also know that there's a fear that Zohran Mamdani is going to institute woke Shakira law in New York City. Should, should he be elected? And it seems like a lot of the cops are like gearing up for how they're going to retaliate
First of
against
all,
him.
you said Shakira law on
Yeah.
purpose because you're an N-word.
He wants to magnetize the enchilada. What is that? Like, what does that mean for the average New Yorker? It's terrifying. And you know, okay, I can't say that I have any in with the cops that I know that they're gearing up to do something. I think Mamdani has handled this very well, talking about how he wants them to do cop stuff and to not do not cop stuff. And it's hard to not get behind that, I would think. We just really want to avoid a situation where they turn their backs on him. I've never seen anything like it. The cops turn their back on the mayor. They're in business for themselves, man.
I mean, I
I don't
think
know, man.
I do think you live in a city where like police corruption is on such an unbelievable level that there is
Yeah.
a series, not just one, a series of fascinating films
Yes.
about cops on the take, not cashing their paychecks because they got so much drug money.
It's
Um,
kind of what we do here.
if the primary role of law enforcement is to protect capital, not the public, how should
Right.
that reframe our understanding of public safety?
I am not sure. I feel like when I think of public safety, I think of things like wearing masks and using hand sanitizer, not just, hey, 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 break it up. Everybody go home. Put the pandas back in the box. Stop
Public
making the
safety is
chickens
hand
fight.
sanitizer. Okay, I have no. I okay. I dig it. I dig it. Good
Yeah.
sidewalk height, right?
Yes. These things are important.
No
It's not
potholes.
just it's not just breaking up dog fights. It's more than that.
I'm not breaking up a dog fight.
I'm not breaking up a dog
I'm not
fight
breaking up.
either.
Don't you know what? Also, TIR listeners, don't break up a dog fight.
No.
You will get bit and then probably shot.
Eesh.
So,
What about roosters?
ooh, you'll get poked and then probably shot.
Mm. Monkeys with knives?
What'd you say?
Monkeys with knives?
Run.
Yeah.
'Cause then you will hope to get shot. Because a monkey with a knife. Mm, I'm
Mm.
sure there's a racist watching right now that's like, oh, the jokes just write themselves with these niggers.
Monkeys with knives. Maybe they're British because they have a gun there.
Doffing their hat as they say something racist.
What were we talking about? Protecting
Racist
protecting
humor.
property, protecting capital. Yeah, I don't think anybody thinks that the cops are supposed to
But
protect
but what you're
capital. They
saying
think
about
cops are supposed to protect people.
but what you're saying about public safety even goes so as far as like having working stoplights,
Yes.
speed bumps.
Mhm.
Why don't we look at public safety from that perspective and we can only understand it from the perspective of someone's going to get me and my wife or children.
I think that has to do with the settler colonial history of this country.
Hmm.
I think there's people who are like it was handed down from generations to watch your back. The engines are coming. They're gonna scalp you. Don't sleep with one eye open. Kind of thing. There's a lot of fear in this country. Like I don't remember, was it Bowling for Columbine? One of Michael Moore's movies,
Mhm.
or maybe even on his TV show. He walked into Canada, first of all. He like
Bowling for Columbine.
yeah, he walked through forest into Canada, and he found that the Canadians were not locking their doors. And that's not a thing here. Okay. The number one thing was two things that Americans are deathly afraid of. Firstly, not getting enough protein. Secondly, other Americans or just other people in this country.
I didn't like that because I've been to Canada.
Hmm.
People lock their doors.
I would think so.
That was not 100% true. I can go to parts of America and have
Hmm.
been there where people don't
Hmm.
lock their doors. I
Right.
don't lock my door here in Mexico. I wouldn't say all Mexicans don't lock their doors.
I think that's weird that you know. But then again, I'm from New York, where it's like
You live
you
in a
watch all these
in a
TV
s-
shows where nobody locks their door, but you would
that was
never
such
do
an
that if you actually
inaccurate.
lived here.
There's a lot of places that you can go to in New York State where
Hmm.
you'll find people probably with unlocked doors.
Sure.
So it's not an accurate portrayal of a region
Hmm.
or a problem. Like
Hmm.
if you're young, you're going to go through. There was a man that kids kept breaking into his house. I forget what state. I think it was in Idaho, and it was almost like a rite of passage for kids to break into this guy's house.
Hmm.
And he tried to call the cops, and the cops didn't do anything about it. I think the man was actually suffering from dementia towards the end of his life. He was much older, and he recorded himself, and he's talking to himself for like 24 hours. And he set up. I wouldn't even say he set up a trap. He just left the window open, and the man lived like hella far off of like a highway, so
Hmm.
he didn't live in a city like you would think a
Right.
city is, right? He lived in a place like Stephen fucking King writes about. And these kids broke in and they were rummaging in his room and they decided, oh, let's see what's downstairs. And he was waiting for them in the basement with a shotgun.
Mm.
And he shot and killed two kids. And he actually went to prison.
I think I heard about this.
He went to
Yeah.
prison. He's in prison right now
Mm.
because when they found the I think it's audio video, maybe it was both, of him sitting in the house. They were like, this is premeditated.
Hmm.
And my first thing was like, well, I mean, you didn't have to break in. You didn't
Hmm.
have a sign. They kind of chose to. But it's no one would look at these kids as troublemakers. They were extremely average kids with no criminal record.
Hmm.
The guy was so again, I think he had dementia. And it's so sad that nobody checked to see if he had dementia. Because I think we think people with dementia are like, what? and then
Mhm.
shitting on themselves, and that's just not what it looks like.
No, it's
Um,
not.
but he thought a girl that had knocked on his door like 20 years before as a Girl Scout was masterminding these plots to break into his house.
Mm,
And when it was a girl and a young man that broke in, and when the girl, he saw the girl first, so he assumed it was this villain in his mind,
yeah.
and he shot her. He shot her like 2 or 3 times, and he waited a day and called the cops. And he's like, someone broke into my house, and the cops were like, okay, well, do you have evidence? He goes, well, I have the people. And they're like, where? He said, well, right here. I saved him. That is
First
not
48 down to 2 hours.
yeah, that's not what a sane individual does. Even if you are on some Bernard Get shit, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
That man was not right. I've been trying to follow the case to see if anyone has tried to use dementia as a defense, and I can't find anything about it.
Hmm.
So he's still
That
locked
sounds
up.
about American.
Someone said, did he trick them into coming in? How was it premeditated? Yes, Mr. P. I'm still trying to figure out. Um, they said it was premeditated because he recorded himself complaining and kind of plotting. He put a
Hmm.
chair in his basement and just sat there with a gun for 24 hours and waited. And eventually some kids tried to break in on a holiday. It was Thanksgiving. They
Wow.
were on their way to go see their parents. And they're like, let's go bust in this guy's house because it's fun. Oh no,
Priorities.
shenanigans. Yeah. After moments like Rodney King or George Floyd, mass protests erupted, but systemic change was limited. What prevents sustained transformation after these flashpoints?
Well, as we discussed with Arun Gupta earlier this week, great show, by the way. You should listen to it if you haven't. What is needed on the left is a leftist mullet. This is what I discussed with Arun, yes, earlier this week. Um, so you have the anarchists, and they seem to be in control of a lot of these protests. People are adopting a lot of their methods, the horizontal movements, and no leadership. And the problem is they don't leave any structures or institutions when they're done. So what you need is like a reverse mullet, right? So it's party in the front, anarchist in the front, and then business in the back. That's the socialist with the structure and the institutions. Need to figure out how to
I
make
like
that
your
haircut
leftist
work.
mullet. I think your leftist mullet has validity.
Thank you.
I want to ask you this one before we hit the lightning round and get out of here and watch a film.
Lightning round.
The lightning round is ridiculous. Cedric Johnson warns that white guilt and black outrage are not enough to contrast entrenched power. What kinds of coalitions or strategies could move beyond these limited emotional currents?
I think definitely distancing ourselves from the emotion. I mean, there's nothing wrong with emotion, and you do need it to get these things started, but that's sort of the leftist mullet theory as well. You no, we don't do Edgars around here. Those are even all around. No way. We need party in the front and business in the back. That is what's going to get us out of this. I don't know where Jason went to. He left me on the screen alone. But yes, I think that's what's going to be necessary because otherwise you're going to be really episodic, which is what we have seen in the past few decades. Just all of these flare ups, and with black people, looking at you, black people, it's often around
Don't
police
shoot them.
brutality.
Let's say
Police
that again.
brutality has been the thing to rally people around in the past few decades. And there's so much more going on in our communities than just police brutality, but that seems to be the thing to bring people out of their homes and into these protests. We need a more holistic view of the problems that we're facing, because those are people dying quickly, but more of us are dying slowly for
Mm,
all kinds of reasons,
mm,
and those need to be addressed.
mm. All right, I have some lightning round questions for you.
Sure.
If both parties work for capital, are elections just a job review for our overlords?
They're job interviews.
Okay.
I guess if you're an incumbent, it's a job review. But there's no stakes for a lot of people. A lot of people run unopposed. And then you have those judges that nobody researches that you're supposed to vote for. And nobody knows how they get in, and they just stay there.
It's like hair, right? There's a
Yeah,
bald guy. It's like that guy's bald. He's definitely impartial. That woman has no asymmetrical cut or bangs. She's definitely impartial.
there you go.
There you go. That woman's black. She's a girl, impartial justice, like the ones I
Mm,
see on the TV.
that's right, like Judge Maybelline.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Hmm.
Body cams, transparency tool, or POV footage for the dystopia blooper reel.
Blooper reel. It's more like
I asked ChatGPT to write these after I was done with the script and the question. And it goes, would you like these to be darker? I'm like, yep.
Oh no. No, those videos are like Mr. Beast viral clips. They're making viral moments. That's what body cams are for. They turn them
Which
off all the time.
which party promises to save the middle class faster? Before or after they finish looting it?
Which party promises to save the middle class faster, before
Before
or
or
after?
after they finish looting it?
Oh, um, I I think the Republicans are trying to make overtures towards saving the working class and
Mhm.
maybe the middle class. I feel like the Democrats aren't even talking about that anymore. They're focused on people who don't really need help, I think, or
We got
don't need as much.
we got some good news. Ken K just donated 3 memberships. That
That's
means
awesome.
3 people can watch Death Wish 4 with us tonight. The link is already up for paid YouTube subscribers and of course patrons. So thank you, Ken.
That's
You're a real
fantastic.
one.
Thank you, Ken.
You're a real one. Um, if America's return to greatness means more cops, does that make greatness a crime scene?
What? Can I just say real quick? Because people are like talking about the Republicans and what do they promise.
Mhm.
They may be promising things, but nobody's delivering. I just want to
No
say
one's
that
delivering.
no one's delivering.
Unless
All right.
what you wanted was to upend a certain amount of like liberal comforts, then you delivered, right? You wanted to upend certain safety laws for trans people. You wanted
Mm-hmm.
to continue to upend education. I think a big problem with education, the way people look at it, like they're taking out Black history. Yeah, but my God, people have no idea how much has been taken out of history and science books for the last 30 years.
Right.
People have no idea. We've said this before on the show. Places like Texas buy school books for so many states,
Mm-hmm.
school systems.
Yes.
So when Texas and Florida start saying wacky shit about what public education is going to look like, you should be afraid.
Mm-hmm.
You should be very fucking afraid. Afraid. Got possessed by my Filipino ex-father-in-law.
Okay. I thought you were gonna spell socks slowly. Why is this guy walking around the supermarket spelling socks in English?
I
You
think
seen
he's
that
got the
weird black
dementia.
guy spelling socks? I'm
Well,
sorry. What was your last question?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They just ChatGPT threw some insane shit my way for this lightning round. And I kept making it crazier and crazier to the point that it was just me.
You are outrageous.
Like some of the questions were like kind of nice. It was like, would you like it to be more punchy and mean spirited? It'll play great with it. I'm like, man, you really know me.
Oh no. Have you named your chat GPT?
It's Edgar. And
Edgar?
he speaks with an accent. No one fucking name it. It's
My
gross.
my friend named hers. She's Puerto Rican. She named hers Rafe. He's British, and he helps her make the things she says online more Puerto Rican.
I don't even. I can't even. I'm not gonna comment. I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm like, where did you get the name Rafe
I.
from?
God,
That's a deep cut.
I can't believe you said those words fell out of your mouth.
She's a lot of fun. I like
Weird. Solowski says name it Winthrop.
her.
Dip, is this Diphtherio? I always say dip the hero. I'm
Yeah.
dyslexic, blind, and mildly tarded. So
Mm. Oh my gosh, Dizzle, what are you on?
do you want me to read it or do you want to read it?
I'm not reading that.
I'll read it then. The real question is, should I tell her to bust that bussy open and I'll let her know when to bring it back?
Dizzle, you need a hug.
Oh,
Bro, what's going on? Dizzle needs a hug. Dizzle
can
needs
you
a
give him a
hug.
virtual hug right now?
Big hugs to you, Dizzle. I don't know what you're going through. Oh, he's very tired.
Well, let's bounce. You don't have to join us, but everyone else is going to join us to watch Death Wish 4. It is maybe my favorite in the Death Wish series because of the final scene. I warned you. I love it when he shoots that man with a grenade launcher that is literally 10 feet away from him. It is the most unnecessary thing I've ever
Oh,
seen.
Dizzle is he's acting out. Thank you for the dono. Also, Dizzle.
Thank you, everybody, for making sure this can keep going.
Treya became a member today.
He's the god of
Ken,
future.
yeah.
I don't,
Aw.
I don't care what. And don't you can't talk shit about that guy because A, I love the way he handled it. Film me all you want. I'm gonna knock the shit out of you. Well, then you'll be filming your own crime. Damn it! Now I can't knock the shit out of this guy.
He's not lying. Well,
He's-
Butrin look like
You can't.
PC.
You can't even turn the camera off and knock the shit out of the guy. You already said you were gonna knock the shit out of him. The police are gonna be like, you did say you were gonna knock the shit out of him, and he's got a big black eye.
Mm.
Everybody saw you do it, and they applauded when the dude came to with his black eye. You are the villain in this, sir. You are the villain.
I mean, he put himself in that situation. He just inserted himself into this conversation the man was having with his Wellbutrin.
He was having a bad. This is the thing about people having a bad day, and I want to leave it this. Sometimes people have a bad fucking day, and it sucks. You just want to go to the store and get whatever shit you want to get at the store, and you don't want to see some dude melting down over Wellbutrin. But guess what? He's gonna leave,
Hmm.
and you never have to see him again. You don't have to record him for the internet. You don't have to threaten to kick his ass because you can. He's gonna have a meltdown, and he's gonna go home. It's just that simple. That man that was minding his own business with his meltdown, the only person that I felt should have said something to him was the cashier that had to deal with him. Like, hey, I'm gonna need you to stop yelling, even if it's at the register. It's too close to me. It's not cool. We don't yell here.
I agree.
And the cashier didn't say shit. You don't need a
They don't get
white
paid
knight for
enough.
the. You don't need a fucking yeah. You don't need a white knight for the fucking cashier. Leave dude alone. He's minding his own business for the most part. He's loud about it, but he's gonna leave. He's going to leave. Did he
I
say
just
some
want.
slurs? Yeah. So I don't give a shit. Looks like he's got a more difficult time trying to pay for his medication. What do you say?
I just wanted to say, I believe there was a storyline in Batman. I think it's Alan Moore, but I'm not sure. The idea that all it takes is one bad day to create someone like the Joker. And I found in my research that Joaquin Phoenix's Joker was partially inspired by Bernard Getz.
Really?
One bad,
Oh, that makes sense.
one bad day. Yeah.
But he was a lot cooler than Bernard Getz.
Yes, he was.
God,
He could dance.
you could put glasses on a dog and it'd be way cooler than Bernard Getz.
Wow.
Like, oh, look at that dog with glasses.
So we're ending on the note of compassion and not seeking vengeance and a reminder that the left does not throw people away.
That's a hard thing to tell people that throw people away.
It is. They wouldn't want to be thrown away, though.
No. And everyone thinks they're on the right side.
That's facts.
One of the people, I'll leave you with this.
Killing
Tony
joke,
Red.
yes.
Tony Red sent this to me. One of the people that was part of the January 6th riot got promoted, not promoted, but got a job for the DOJ under Trump.
Wow.
He was one of the people that was calling for the murder of law enforcement because he said they were all Nazis
Wow.
in the Gestapo. There's a reason why people like Daniel Besner, whether you want to agree with it or not, whether you want to dig it or not, whether you think it's a nerdy academic argument or not, this is where I think the argument becomes important. When you throw around certain words, they do lose a little bit of their meaning. And you don't own those words. I think most people that use the term Nazi and Gestapo have probably never been around a January 6er. I feel confident in that. Right? And to hear those people use the same verbiage, a little bit different, it's like, these were people that were none of those cops opened fire on those people.
Right.
It was what Secret Service that shot the chick, right?
I think so, right?
Yeah.
Ashley Babbitt.
So I'm sure there are people that think those guys were proto-Nazi Gestapo, and now that guy gets to be part of the Gestapo. Oh, the irony.
Yeah. It's weird that these people's grandfathers were literally Antifa and fought against Nazis, and now it's cool to be one. Weird.
Yeah. On that note, let's watch a movie about revenge and crack cocaine. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow for a very special episode.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good one. We're out.